Hello, and welcome to episode 8 of Coach Ani, the podcast. I have to tell you guys, I'm pretty stoked because by the time you'll be listening to this, I'm in Cabo! Although Cabo might not sound super exciting, number one, it is extraordinarily exciting because a friend of mine is getting married. And on top of that, it's vacation. Which this is literally the first vacation in 5 years that I've been able to take, knowing that nobody's going to text me that there's an emergency. Nobody's going to text me that there's something that I need to handle or that there's something that needs to be done or as a just in case or did I do something before I left. There's going to be none of that, which I will say is one of the perks of being self-employed. I have already told all of my clients that I'm working on for bigger projects, hey, just so you know, from this day to this day, I'm completely MIA. I will not be answering anything. I will get back to you guys as soon as I possibly can. Which, that just makes me happy. So no, when you hear this, I'm probably on the beach. Thank you very much for joining me. So there is, I don't want to say it's an interesting topic that I want to talk about, but for me, it's an interesting topic I actually want to talk about. And that is in terms of the relationships in our lives. And here's the deal, man. Oh, you guys message me so much. And I feel like even my own experiences inside of, friendships, inside of the workplace and outside of the workplace. And a lot of times you guys message me and you're like, oh my gosh, I've known this person for so long. And I've felt like, we were going to be friends forever, but now it's getting kind of weird. I don't know what's happening. Are we outgrowing each other? It feels competitive. I feel like I can't talk to her. I feel like I can't talk to him. Things become weird. And frankly, it's just unfortunate. Things like that are going to happen. People will outgrow each other. That just happens. People move, they go to separate places. You just don't talk as much. But I think obviously it comes down to the person, but I'm just going to use myself as an example. One of my closest friends actually lives in Los Angeles, and him and I are basically in constant contact. Not constant, but it's one of those things, honestly, one of us might send the other one 7 text messages of things and thoughts and ideas that come to our head, and the other might not answer for 5 hours because they're busy, but it's totally fine. But it's not even that. What I've noticed is that this friendship is far different than anyone I've ever experienced. And not ever, but in quite a long time, because I've noticed that, number one, there's no embarrassment between either one of us to say, wait, I'm confused. Wait, can you help me? Wait, this doesn't make sense. Wait. What are you doing with that? There's no embarrassment of I don't fucking know what this means. I have no idea how to do that. And on top of that, the question of, could you help me with blank? Would you mind helping me with, or hey, can you tell me how you did that? My friend was coloring some hair and I was like, oh, I really like how you color wefts. How do you color those wefts? And he literally sent me a 17-minute video. A 17-minute video thoroughly explaining the deep and in-depth process of how he goes through and colors wefts. And I remember yes, I watched the video while I was doing my makeup, but more so I sat there thinking, how fascinating that two people who have, thriving careers, they're extraordinarily happy in what they do. They love their clientele. They love their business, have no ego with each other. And I think that that's something very important to address, because you guys know, I bet you have the friend, oh, it's those fucking one-uppers where you're like, oh my gosh, this was so cool. My client tipped me, 25%. They're like, oh, your client tipped you 25%. Well, my client tipped me 35%. She always tips me 50%. You're first off, your numbers are changing. Second of all, damn, I didn't share with you to make you feel bad about yourself. And I've seen that happen, but I feel those hard feelings tend to only come up if there's a competitive nature between the two, or frankly, if one party doesn't feel good about themselves and then they're projecting that shit onto someone else, because that fucking happens all the time in friendships and relationships, whatever it is, that one person, they're not confident in the art that they're doing or the work that they're producing or where they're at in life, or the fact that they're not willing to push themselves out of their comfort zone, but their friend is, and their friend is thriving. And now all of a sudden it's oh, well, it's just so stupid that you do that. It's just so dumb because blah, blah, blah. It's damn, Gina, I didn't build my business to fucking make you feel bad. Like, I'm not sharing my wins because, like, to once again, make you feel better, make you feel like less. Like, I thought we were friends. And to me, inside of a friendship, you should actually be able to share those things. But like I said, share those things without there being that competitive nature. Because I think once you go and like, you have that competition between each other, it becomes much harder to share. And now here's the deal. I'll also say that if you're around someone and like you have a friend, a relationship, whatever that might look like, and you're constantly like questioning your own worth when you're around this person. Oh my God, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I skinny enough? Am I tall enough? Am I talented enough? Like whatever it is, I'm going to have you consider two things. One, you might have to reconsider the relationship. Like honestly, like is it behaviors? Is it like snarky remarks that they're making? Is it behaviors of them that are making you feel a negative way? Or is it you? I know it's kind of hard to hear and it's not fun to say, but I go back to my original statement of friends should be able to share wins and losses and like heartbreak and heartache, but like heartwarming stories as well without you feeling like shit. Because I know with my friend, for example, I love that I keep saying my friend like I only have one friend. Like, I have more than one friend, but to be honest, other than my parents and Steven, I think Grayson's like the only person I talk to literally every day. I think he takes rank number 3, and some days I swear to God I talk to him more than I talk to Steven. You know, like when you meet that person, you're like, you're my soul person. This just kind of happens sometimes. But even with that, like I'm saying, it should not feel like you're against each other. You should be able to build each other up. And that's not saying I hate like a yes man or a total like jerk off session where you see someone that's like, oh my God, that's going to be fucked up. Don't do that. Oh God, you know what? That is a great idea. Oh my God, Betty, I love that. You should totally do that. Yeah. And you walk away and you're like, oh my God, it's going to ruin her fucking life. Don't be that guy. Like it doesn't have to be that way either. There can be a mix and a balance of you guys collaborating together to both help each other, grow. His following is 4 times larger than mine. I don't feel shitty about my following. Like, honestly, like I see his and I view it more as inspiration of like, wow, look what he did in a matter of just like a few months. Like, that's fucking rad. Wow. Share with me what you know. I'll share with you what I know. And we honestly, I feel like just trade knowledge and information back and forth. And as we continue to do that, the reason that I'm bringing this up in this podcast is that I'm not really sure I've fully experienced that with someone who's in the same industry, who understands like the world that I come from. We understand the world that each other comes from. He has ADD. I have ADHD. I mean, our personalities are very similar, but there's never once been I have to outdo you, or, oh my God, you're outdoing me. Which is why I say, if you have a relationship in your life and you're continuously having those feelings of like, oh my God, I'm being left behind. I have to go. I have to hurry. And you know, oh, they're doing better than me, or oh my God. Or you turn to kind of like that bitter Betty and you're like, oh, fuck them, whatever, because I don't even care. That's so stupid that you post every day. Whoa, dude. What happened? Your own insecurities should not be pawned off on someone else. And that comes from like, because I've said it before and I'll say it again, you will never be criticized by someone doing more than you. So if you're sitting here criticizing your friend, I also say, look internally. Like really take a look. What about them is making you feel this unease? Because frankly, it might not be them. It might be you that deep down, you know you're not living up to your own potential. That's not their fault. And I'll say, even when it comes to friendships and things like that, sometimes, frankly, it's just a miscommunication. And I'll say like a quote unquote expectation that has not been communicated. I know 2 artists, and it was a really interesting dynamic training them both because they would both come to me with the same problems about each other. hey, so-and-so said this, it hurt my feelings. The other person would be like, well, she said this and that hurt my feelings. And I'm like, wow, you are both hurting each other's feelings. You are both saying something to the other person that is making them feel like shit, yet neither one of you will budge. You're both wrong. Congrats, you're right. No one's right and wrong because you're both fucking wrong. There cannot be empathy and understanding if you are not willing to listen. And once again, when you're going through and you're working on things, yes, there comes a time where you have to push yourself. Like, frankly, there has to, yes, there are times where you have to kind of be like, you know what? I'm not doing enough. I'm not posting every single day. I'm not marketing myself like I should. I'm not putting the thought and intention and attention into all of my goals that I need to be doing, but you don't get to project that onto someone else. Now look internally and ask yourself, well, what do I need to do? Because I do feel like there is a balance between being really proud of yourself and the goals that you've accomplished, but also knowing that you're capable of more. One without the other will leave you stagnant and upset. If you do not have the capability or ability to go through and look at everything that you've done, big and small, opening up a new salon, yes, is amazing and fantastic and wonderful, but that's not like the only goal. And I've talked to artists that they're like, I'm following these people on Instagram and I'm actually feeling bad about myself. They're literally told me like, I follow so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, and I feel bad about myself because I've been told for so long now that this is what success is. This is what it means. This is how you're successful. If you don't have these things, you're not successful. And she literally looked at me and go, but I don't want those things. I don't strive for that. I don't want it. I don't care for it. So now what? And I'm like, well, it can be that relationship or that person that you're following on Instagram, maybe you just need to not anymore. Maybe that needs to come to an end, not because they're right or wrong or you're right or wrong, but it is no longer fulfilling you. It's actually doing the opposite where, hey, they're just living their life, but the message that you're receiving no longer resonates with you, then don't follow them. It's okay to do things for you that are good for your own mental health. Your mental health. Fuck what everybody else says. It's about you. So, but like I said, that's also why you need to understand that when you're progressing to bigger goals and more things, first off, make sure that they are your goals. It's something that you genuinely want. And it's not you. It's like the phrase like keeping up with the Joneses, where people buy a bunch of shit that they literally can't afford because they think that that's how they look successful, and really you just look fucking stupid because now you have a shit ton of credit card debt. That doesn't help you. So that's what I'm saying. Be able to say like, I want this goal. Make sure it's yours. And it's not you trying to quote unquote compete with someone else or one up someone else, or because you're feeling shitty because you don't have certain things. I'll give you an example. I do 2 clients a week. I am not taking any more new clients currently. I frankly don't want to. I'm obsessed with my clientele. My books are full to the extent that I personally want them. I know that there are some people that would go through and look and be like, oh my God, 2 clients a week. Yeah, I go into the salon 2 days a week, 1 client each day. And I'm really happy. I'm there for, 3 to 4 hours. Then I come home and I continue my consulting and my coaching. That makes me happy. I view that as successful to me. For other people, I'm sure they're like, 2 a week, you broke bitch. Ooh, you're like bad at hair. You don't want more? You don't want more? No, I don't want more. I love my clients. I love the structure that I have. I love the capacity at where I'm at. I love this. And where I want to push myself is inside of coaching and consulting. That is where like I now live. But guess what? No friends of mine have been like, ooh, that's not enough. I've actually had friends say, you know what, Ani? I actually think I want to scale back a little bit. I've built up. I built up quick. I make great money, but I actually feel like I want to scale back to now focus on other things. That is still success. And that's a healthy relationship for someone to be like, fuck yeah, like, do you, good for you. And also remember that if you have a relationship or a friendship that no longer works for you, it's okay to outgrow people. truly it's okay. That doesn't make them right or wrong, or you right or wrong. It does not mean that you are better than them. It does not mean you are any less than them. Like, none of those things. They are choosing their own path because, frankly, for them, maybe it's just what's right. Maybe that's just what makes them happy. Maybe they're just not as ballsy as you yet to really push themselves outside of their comfort zone. Because you know what? I will say this, and I was having this conversation with Grayson the other day, that there is a difference in pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone and not feeling safe. Those are two vastly different feelings. And what's interesting to me is the safer I feel, the more I'm willing to push myself. And I don't mean safe in terms of like, I have so much money, nothing matters. If this fucks up, I'll be fine. No. I'm not saying don't take leaps and bounds. I'm saying emotionally and mentally, when you feel safe, you're willing to really push yourself farther. And and I've talked about toxic environments before, but if you're a toxic environment or all you ever hear is like, well, everyone's replaceable. Ugh, and that makes you feel like, oh my God, I gotta do more. I'm gonna get fired. I gotta do more. I'm gonna get fired. I gotta do more. There comes a point where you can't do more. There comes a point where you can't do more. You are a human being, and human beings have limits. And it's okay to have limits, and it's okay to put in boundaries, because the only people that will ever be upset with you for having boundaries and creating boundaries are the people that benefit from you having none. Hear that again. The only people that will be upset with you for creating and holding boundaries are those that gain from you having none. They benefit from you having no boundaries. So that's okay. It's okay for a friendship and a relationship to no longer work. It's okay for you guys to grow apart. It's okay to look at it and say, you know what? You've actually done nothing wrong. You haven't been mean to me. You haven't done anything. But when I'm around you, I feel shitty about myself, and it's not a you thing. It's a me thing. It's something I need to work on, that I need to focus on. Maybe I need to see a therapist. That's okay. That's okay. But you just have to be honest with yourself. Personally, it's why I keep my circle so small. One, because I'm an introvert and I'm more like a black cat, and frankly, I am just so awkward. It's painful. But the other part is because I only have so much energy. I only have so much time. And I only have so much to invest. So when it comes to me sitting down and saying, is this person to me? Is the relationship that we have, the back and forth, the feelings that I get when I'm with them, like the laughter, the encouragement, the fun, yeah, sometimes the tears shed, all these things, is it worth the energy? To be frank, I've said no a lot. And that's okay. They're not good or bad, and neither am I. It's a decision. And it's a decision that I make and that I willingly make to protect my own mental health, my emotional health, my sanity. It's a decision that I make. And sometimes it's one that you have to make too. And the reason I keep saying this is because it's okay. You can love someone from a distance but not have them in your life. You can cheer someone on from a distance and wish them all the most beautiful, amazing, wonderful things in the world. But you can also know deep down, they're just not good for you. And that's okay. So here's what I encourage you to do. Take a look at your relationships and really ask yourself, does it benefit you? Does it not? And I don't mean benefit you as like, oh yeah, gimme. I firmly believe that every friendship, every relationship is a trade. If you are taking more than you are ever giving, frankly, I view that as very toxic, because you are a battery drainer. You're an energy vampire. You love to take. And my God, have I seen those people and had them in my life left and right. And I realize I'm a big personality, and I feel like I'm a battery to other people. I'm an energetic battery to other people, and I will not allow myself to be sucked dry. Not anymore. Made the mistake many times, don't get me wrong, and that was on me because the boundaries that I did not have, I permitted it. I allowed it, and I will not allow that anymore. And maybe it's the same for you. Maybe you have to ask yourself, are you the taker? Or are you the one that's giving too much? Are you the one sucking up from other people? Or are you the one that you're like, yeah, I'll give you anything. You need my blood. And it's like, okay, well, you just gave away like everything you had. You have nothing left now. That doesn't work either. Because I'll also say if someone's willing to take that much without filling your cup back, without pouring back into you, that's not good. And that's probably a relationship you should just maybe ponder it and consider it. And it's okay to not have a big bubble. That's A-O-fucking-K. Because then I bet once you're really good with you and you're comfortable with yourself and what you're doing and your goals. I talked to a student, she was like, Ani, I have a suite and no assistant. I'm like, okay. She's like, and I don't want an assistant. I'm like, okay. She goes, and I don't want to grow my suite. She goes, I love being in a suite. We also own a bar and I want to focus on the bar. I want to focus on the bar and I want to do hair. I want to do both of these things and the balance that I have. I love it. I'm happy. I'm like, well, what's the problem? She's like, I don't know. I've just been told so many times that I had to do all these things. She's like, I don't fucking want those things. I'm like, then don't. Literally that easy. Don't even worry about it. Because success to you is not success to someone else. And we're not here to compare each other. We're here to cheer each other on. Whatever success means to you, I'm fucking with you. Yeah. I am cheering you on. I hope you get all the things in the world that make you genuinely happy. But first you have to focus on you. And if you have no clue what it is you want, no clue what it is you need, it'll be very hard for you to pour back and forth between a person. So, for all of my introverts, all of my awkward, amazing people listening, that's okay too. You'll find your people. When I say I'm awkward, you're probably like, this bitch is lying. No. I'm an introvert who learned to be extroverted because of my job. Like, sorry, I can't stand in front of 350 people and train them if it makes, well, it did make me want to throw up, but like if I can't like get out of my bubble and learn to be extroverted. It's a muscle that I flexed time and time again. A physical muscle and a mental muscle. And maybe that's what you need to do too. So if you're feeling a little bit lost and lonely, just know that I love you and I'm here and I'm happy to be your friend. I'm happy to be your virtual support if that's what you need. But all I say is just take a look. Take a look at your friendships, take a look at your relationships, and really ask yourself, are the goals and the things that you're gunning for, are they because you're just competing with someone else? Are you just a competition with yourself? Is it an idea that someone else planted in your head that this is the thing that success means, and now you've just kept going for it and you have no idea why you're even doing it? All good questions to ask yourself that are probably not easy to answer, but it's good to know, don't you think? So with that being said, I should probably pack for Cabo. Guys, but seriously, thank you so much for being here on another episode of Coach Ani, the podcast. Once again, if you have a topic or something that you would like me to talk about, please let me know. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. Once again, I answer to every single DM. If you are taking the time to message me, I will take the time to listen to it. I will take the time to read it, and I will take the time to respond. Because you taking time is like the most valuable resource that we have and we never get it back. So I don't take it lightly. Even if it's just like a, hey, thanks for the episode. Great. I will always fucking respond. So with that, guys, have an absolutely wonderful day. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you next week.